There are a variety of people in this world, and we are all very discreet in our own ways. We are very unique in our own ways, and all of us have different ways of expressing. Some of us may have alike ways of expressing. We might relate to certain people. Some of us might be total opposites to certain people. But we also need to know that insecure people you can find everywhere and anywhere. And sometimes you won't even ever notice. Sometimes you would think that the most confident person that you perceive, someone that you think or that you perceive as insanely confident, you'll never know, but those same people are the most insecure people you will ever meet. But you just couldn't tell because you don't know them. You don't know their true intentions. You don't know what's deep inside. Nobody will know that about yourself as well. Nobody knows about what's deep inside of me. But that's the thing though, is these same people that you might have this perfect image of, or you might think are the most nicest people ever, or they're so sweet, and then they unexpectedly say something on your name, or they unexpectedly say something that's false on your name. They falsely accuse you of something. They're spreading rumors. They say something a little backhanded and it's just disrespectful. But then in that moment, you decide to give them a reaction, and you decide to go what's wrong with you, or you try to argue with them, then you have succeeded in making them feel good about themselves. Because oftentimes when people do this, it is because they are deflecting their insecurities, and they're putting out the energy that they don't want in them. They don't like what's inside of them, and they want to put that energy into someone that they envy, and someone that they find have something that they don't have. So in order for them to feel good about themselves, and to disregard that feeling of like, oh my gosh, they have this certain thing and I want it, they will put you on the same level as them. So once they do that and they feel that they've accomplished in that, then they feel relief, because now it's like, okay, yeah, I triggered her, like she's definitely insecure like me. So it's like, so everything's lined up. But that's where you have made a mistake, is because you decided to react to them. Now look, our first instinct as human beings is to react. Like, it's a normal thing. That's what we do. Is when something unexpected happens, of course we're going to react to it. It's almost very difficult to not react to it, especially if this certain thing is happening from someone that you're very close with, or you're friends with, or could be in a relationship with, someone that you've trusted and you've poured your heart out to, and they're acting like this. Yes, it of course you're going to react a little, but you need to realize that this is the moment where you need to be mature about things, and you need to look at it through the lens of who is immature in this moment and who is mature. And you need to realize that how you're reacting, or how you decide on reacting, is very essential in this current moment. Because again, these people can be insecure people that are wanting to just feel better about themselves. So they go on and say these things. And then when you react to it, and you try to start a fight, and you go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, not only are you wasting your time on this person, but you are giving them your energy. And when you give them your energy, you're like fueling their tank. Like, this is like points that they're gaining. This is what they want, and they feel better about themselves because now you are fueling them and you're just giving them all of you. And after an argument, you're not going to feel good. Like, after you debate someone and you just go back and forth with someone, you're not going to feel good. You're going to feel like exhaustion. And then you'll realize that this person that initiated this, they seem to be walking off like everything is cool, and almost as if they just seem even happier than they started, because you then just given them your all. And you need to realize in that moment that you are much more worthier than that. Like, you should not be giving people your time and energy like that. So when there's a situation or scenario like that that's happening, you need to sit and realize that this person initiated this just without even thinking. Like, just okay, think about it through this lens. Is I'm trying to get you guys to understand, like, because honestly, this has happened to me in my life, and it never, my head couldn't wrap around the fact that this person in that moment decided to stop and be like, let me just make up something about this girl and then just spread it out. Or even if that person heard some sort of rumor from somebody else and decided to believe it, and this person was your friend and trusted you and just decided to believe these rumors, that's not your friend, and that's someone that still envies you. Because a true friend doesn't go around believing everybody's BS or believing words or things to do with your name. A true friend will go to you first, have a conversation about this, and say that they've heard things like this, and then they will, in that moment, figure out if it's true from the actual person. It's just not authentic when people go around listening to rumors and believing it right off the bat. That's just not your friend. That's someone that also envies you alongside the person who started the rumor. So it's very essential that you're not overly reacting to these people, and that you need to understand people are going through things, and this is how people, unfortunately, most people feel a sense of happiness or relief in their life, is by picking on people who are far more farther in life than they are. So you need to anger them more by just walking away, or accepting the fact that this is their true colors, and you just need to close the doors shut and lock them. And no matter how much they pick on you and continue to pick on you, you don't react, because once you react, they will constantly do it and do it and do it, because they are gaining so much out of you, and it's just not fair to give out that energy at all. And for me, there was so many times that this was happening to me. I've noticed so, like, a consistent pattern that this was happening, and it was just so consistent that I almost felt like I was genuinely crazy. I felt like there was genuinely something wrong with me that people didn't like, and it led me to overanalyze myself, and it led me to try to change who I was. But really, in those moments when I reflect back now, and I'm like, I was just being authentically me. And matter of fact, I was actually the most caring out of everyone in that circle. I felt like I was always the one that was there for people. I was always the one checking up on people. I was always the one that I just felt I had brought so much light into the circle that people weren't used to that. They weren't used to that light, so they tried to dim it down so much by doing things, by making fun of me, by bringing me up in certain rumors and drama, and making things problematic so that they could feel good. And this was not something I noticed until way later, because of course in the moment, like, it just hurts so bad, you don't tend to realize that that's really what people's intentions are, especially when they're people that you see so much good in. But as time goes by and you learn to puzzle the pieces together, and you realize that all of these people don't really have lives, and then you compare it to all of the work ethic that you've put into this life, and all of the things that you've done to set yourself for success and be where you want to be, like, you really realize there's this like differ, and that you're doing way more than they are. And that's what I felt like. I felt that I seem to be so confident. Actually, I feel that I'm actually a lot more confident than these people are, because I don't see them put as much work as I am. And I feel that when they constantly kept bringing my name up into things and trying to get me involved in their drama, that was their way of trying to get me to push back from my consistency and to distract me from what was getting me closer to where I wanted to be. And people like that are huge, huge sources of negativity. Like, they are what challenge you in life. And that's not me saying that we don't want that in life. We actually always want two sides of things, because that is what keeps us driving, and that's what keeps us work driven and focused, that there's an opposite factor. But that's why I'm telling you guys, is because in that moment, that was the opposite factor for me. These people were that ball of just darkness, while I was this huge source of light, and they were trying to push it back by just, being around me and by doing these things. But what I did in that moment is, once I realized what they really were all about, I just kept pushing my light deeper and deeper and deeper till they just fully exited. And I felt like I used so much of their attitude to my motivation. Like, it motivated me so much. And honestly, I wouldn't be where I am right now if I didn't take that experience and fueled it and put it into my work. Because at the end of the day, if something like that ever happens and you have people treating you like this, you should feel hella special when people can see that light and can envy that light. And because it just shows that they want to be like you, but they can't. So all they do is try to dim you down. And that's something that's very rare in people. And to be able to attract such a thing is actually a gift. It's a blessing and it's a curse, but it's definitely something that shows you as a chosen human being, and that you have so much purpose in this life, that there's some people who can't seem to find that beauty in life. Some people can't reach that level yet, or they haven't reached to that extent in themselves. They haven't been able to love themselves so much to be able to have as much force as you do. I really want you guys to see this through my lens, that all of what I'm saying really comes down to the fact that people genuinely, there's most people, again, insecure people, genuinely don't like authenticity. They don't like people who are authentic. And when you are able to express your personality into like the most authentic way possible, and you are truly 100% yourself, and then people like somehow just don't like that, and they just don't like you for no reason, and then they start doing all of these things, like, that's just because you can be authentic and they can't. They have to constantly wake up and put on a facade. They have to constantly wake up and put on a mask, because they can't face themselves in the mirror, you know? And then when they see that you can go out and walk out without a filter on and without having to hide anything about yourself, and you can just be you without caring, they just hate that shit, bro. Like, they genuinely hate that with all of their guts, because they can't face themselves. That's just simply what it is. They can't face themselves. They can't look in the mirror and accept that this is who they are. So they have to put on a mask. And that mask is what helps them be the way that they are, because they're just hiding everything through behind that mask. They can do whatever the hell they want. They can do any crime that they want. They can disrespect you in any way because they're wearing a mask. They don't care. So you need to realize that these people are wearing masks and you're not. And the fact that you're not, that says a lot about who you are. And so, at the end, it just comes down to not giving these people reactions, because there's no point. There's no point in arguing with someone that wears a mask. There's no point. It's like talking to a wall. You know how embarrassing that'll make you look? That'll make you look like you're literally going back and forth with a wall. And you don't want that. You don't want people looking at that. You don't want to even give out that energy. You don't want to waste the time that you have. Time is valuable. You should be spending it on something way more worthy than that. And you should just take the situation and let it motivate you. Take the feelings and pain or whatever you may feel from that situation and put it into your artwork, and just understand that eventually you will move on and it really never mattered. And if anything, the fact that you were able to see this person's true colors is what is important, because now you know. And now you know what to expect. Now you know how to move, and you're more aware. That's all that really matters. So it's interesting how life works, is that we go through the roughest when we're naive and we first face things, and then after we learn to appreciate it, and we're actually extremely thankful that it happened. So that's really it. Don't react and continue being authentically you and just focus on yourself the way that you do and mind your own business. And when people see that, they oh, it'll trigger them, but that's what you want. You want to trigger people, but you don't want to entertain their trigger, if that makes sense. But yeah, guys, so that's pretty much that's pretty much it for today's video. And I really hope that I got to open a different point of view of things. Until the next one, bye.